Hey, it's Harry here from Ember, and today I'll be going through 5 mistakes you should avoid while writing your resume or CV, depending where you're from. One of the most common questions I get every day is, what do you think of my resume? And I get it. It's not something you write every day, but it is something you need to get right. So here are 5 things you should avoid while building your resume. Feel free to skip ahead to the mistake that you want to move to. Let's get started. Mistake number 1, incorrect spelling and grammar. In this day and age, there's no excuses for getting this wrong. If you can't be bothered to check for mistakes on your resume, what does it say about your attention to detail and your written communication skills? Microsoft Word does have a built-in spelling checker, but my advice is download Grammarly. It's a great free tool and it saves my blushes every single day. Or if you prefer the old-fashioned way, reach out to a friend, a partner, a family member, and have them go over your resume. They'll have a much more critical eye than you, and they've also not read it 1,000 times, so the mistakes will jump out more to them than they will to you. Spelling and grammar mistakes just get you off on the wrong foot, so make sure you get it right. Mistake number 2, random formatting and structure. A resume structure is pretty simple. You start with your most recent role and you work backwards in chronological order. Now, the only time when you might want to change this is if you're trying to get back into a career or industry and you've had a break from it. So at this point, you may want to put your most relevant experience first, but this is only in that case. But it still needs to be easy to follow. Recruiters spend very little time screening CVs, so they want to see the most relevant information as soon as possible. Secondly, you should have consistent formatting throughout your CV. Make sure you keep the color and font the same throughout the CV, and don't use different text sizes for similar sections. If you've used Times New Roman to outline your achievements in one role, make sure you use it again for all of your other roles. Mistake number 3, just listing your job duties. This is not a job description. This is your resume. If you only list the tasks that everyone else would do in that role, you're not adding value and you're not standing out. What the recruiter is looking for is real, definitive examples of how you added value and what you achieved. So show evidence of what you did and what was the results. Try to be as objective as possible. You're telling a story about your career, so bring it to life. Mistake number 4, using the same resume for every single job you apply for. Now, if you do have an amazing resume, this will affect you less, but you're still putting yourself at a disadvantage. You should be tweaking and refining your CV for every application, highlighting your experience and what's relevant for the role. Remember, you want to make it as easy as possible for the recruiter to see your potential for this role. So don't make the hiring manager go on a treasure hunt to find the gems in your CV, because remember, we're pretty lazy. You don't need to rewrite your whole CV every single time, but a few tweaks go a long way. And finally, mistake number 5, ignoring non-work experience. You don't need to focus on just the jobs that you got paid to do, because there's a lot to be said about unpaid work. Talking about personal projects and experiences can be a great icebreaker and can showcase other skill sets. Me personally, I traveled around the world for 10 months before I decided to settle in Australia. I always include this in my CV. Now, it may seem irrelevant, but let me tell you why I do that. Not only does it explain the career gap in my CV, but it gives me the opportunity to talk about things like personal accountability, problem solving, communication skills, managing a budget, and most importantly, how I learned to salsa. Now, this generally helps you for more entry-level roles, but if you are doing projects outside of your usual 9 to 5, make sure you talk about it. It helps show off a little bit about your personality and what you've learned through your life. So that's 5 CV mistakes to avoid on your resume. Thanks for watching.